All right, so someone asked me recently to expand and do Tarkov Millions Part 2. And I want to show you roughly what goes into now that the initial phase of everyone jamming for items is over, what we're doing. Okay, so first of all, let me just show you roughly what I've been making. This was empty 3 hours ago. And as you can see, a lot of them are at 31,000, 17,000, etc. And this has gotten me to the 23 million I am today. Now again, 23 million after I continue to buy lab key cards, magazines, thick cases. Thick cases are about 11 million. I can afford those every couple days or so, just off the money that we're making here. So how is it done? Well, first of all, one of the things that you have to know about the flea market is it's no longer this big difference game where it used to be that you would buy something and sell it for $20,000 or $30,000 benefit. Two things have happened. One is a ton of people with bots, which I find horrible, and against the entire point here. I mean, look, if you're not going to spend the time in the game and you just want a bunch of digital currency that you can't really do anything with, I mean, first of all, that's along the lines, in my opinion, of aimbotting, of which there are many, and I have reported them, and so far I've been a little bit disappointed with the developers in finding a lot of those people. I've sent at least 4 or 5 reports on one gentleman in labs, but I digress. So here's what we have. One is I trade a lot of just different things. Now again, I have everything on a wish list that I might change. Now I was looking as part of a preparation for this video at the 8-shell MP133 8-gauge magazine. Now, sometimes you can sell those for around 4,000. So again, you buy a bunch at 2,400, almost 2,500, and you sell them at 4,000. And I wanted to pick this up for a certain reason. For instance, when you sell, I don't know, 200 of these, and you're selling them at 2,400, this person is making about maybe 100 rubles, or maybe they're not making anything, or maybe they're losing money off the 8-shell magazine. Now this person has a 231 rating, which tells me a couple things. One, that they've spent an inordinately large amount of time buying high and maybe selling higher, but also maybe they buy things that are worth, I don't know, 50,000 rubles, and they sell them for almost no profit. Now what that'll do is it'll raise your seller rating. I'm only selling things that make me rubles because I actually don't care as much about the seller rating. I care about the rubles. So this is not a deal that I would make today, and that's one of the things that I look at as I look through. I used to sell scope mounts. Now I would buy these at $43 back in the day before I had skier up to level, but now that skier's at 44, you can make about 1,000 less the transactional fees. So you're probably only making 400 rubles per item on this, and it sits on the market forever. And you can tell it sits there forever because skier only sold within the last 2.5 hours about 120 of them because he starts at 15,000. Now, that's another important note here. If the person isn't selling a lot of them, that tells you that there's not a lot of demand. And when there's not a lot of demand, then that 50 can sit on the market for a long time. We call that churn. The churn on the market is not very high. So one of the other things I look at is the micro spacers. Now this is a great example of one that we should buy because you're buying it at $23. The next person selling it is selling it for 10,000 rubles. So just breaking even on this, I'd be selling it for about 3,500 rubles, meaning that the difference between the 3,500 right now and the 10,000 is 7,000 rubles. So in this case, I would buy it. Now some people would go in at 9,999 and they would 1 ruble less than this person. For me, I think that's a poor trade because then someone is going to do this. Let me show you on night vision. On night vision, well, here I'm selling night vision, and people have done exactly what they should do. Someone came in at 32,000, bought 55 of them. Then someone came in at 31,999, 23. Then 31,500, 35, 35. Now this person at 32 has to go through people selling about 100 of them before they sell it. Now, I'm selling it only to get, and I said I wouldn't do this earlier, but I'm getting this up over 30 so I have one more slot to sell, because I have 3 out of 4 right now. If I get this over 30, I get another one. So I'm undercutting this person. Now, I'm not doing it by a ruble, because then someone's going to kind of undercut me by a ruble, and more. What I did was I calculated the exact value where I make 1 ruble. Anyone selling anything less than this is actually losing money on every trade. That's called the watermark. So I'm not selling underwater. I'm still over water by a ruble, but not by much. And I only sell these a little bit, right? Muzzle breaks, this is a good example of another phenomenon. One is buying in euro and selling. Now, someone, again, dropped by a ruble. I'm not worried about that because these 15 will go fairly quickly, and he's obviously a big trader. Interestingly, and I'm not calling this person out, but they're not an Edge of Darkness seller. That means they've got a lower stash. And to get 422 on this implies to me that something tricky is going on, or they're masters of the market. It probably implies that they're either sitting at their computer all day, or the computer is sitting and using a bot to run it. I don't know that for sure. I'm not accusing anyone. I'm just saying that's the kind of thing we see, is these high numbers with a person who's not Edge of Darkness. They haven't invested in the larger game, because if they got caught, they'd be banned and they'd be out a bunch of money. This is someone that probably doesn't do that, and who knows if you've seen them in the game. Put in the comments below if you've seen this kind of thing. Anyway, here's the point. What you're noticing is that a lot of people, so I'll sell at 17,000 rubles, and that is more than all of these euros. However, people buy in rubles far more than they buy in dollars and euros. And so if you buy something and everyone before you is in dollars or rubles, you can sell, or dollars in euros, you can sell in rubles and actually make a lot of money. I make a ton of money off these muzzle breaks. There's another couple muzzle breaks that I use. Again, you can use these tricks. That's fine. I don't care. If you see WonderMonkey in there and you want to buy from me, awesome. The other thing I do, and this is a bit of a trick, I don't think that it's hacking at all, because we actually can lose money. But if you have a friend and you get jammed at the end of this, now if you remove yourself, you're going to lose some player rating. I have a buddy who will buy these, put them back on the market for 17. I will buy them, and that's a way to remove them without removing your player rating. No one makes any money off it. In fact, we lose some money. I pay him back. He usually goes a little bit above it. So 1,800 if you're or 18,000 if you're following this. What happens is he buys my stash to release that level. I buy it back a little bit higher, and then I sell it just to get rid of it. Because again, I bought it all the way down at 111 euro, which means that I could probably sell it for anything over 130 or maybe even 120 and make money. So when we're doing this transaction, no one loses money, and I still make money at the end, just not as much. I love watching the red key card. I actually bought my key card for 10 million rubles. It's now at 30, which just shows you how crazy this market is. Use different sight mounts, right? The micro spacer high, again, some people buy this. There's not a lot of churn in it, but it also might be because it's in dollars. Not a lot of people have them. The HL magazine churns like crazy, but again, King Blatuzzi, I don't know, has blocked the market because he's so close to the watermark that anyone going beyond it's not going to make anything. Now, you might do it again to get your player rating up, but this is a horrible one to do it for your player rating, simply because this amount is really low. You want to do something for your player rating, buy something in the $30,000 line. Again, this is something that's been on the market just for a little bit. The churn isn't great, but you can sell it. This person's losing money. So young cheeser, you're losing money on this, buddy. It's for $400 a difference. You're just throwing away cash. That's okay. They're going to get their player rating up, and they're going to lose some money doing it, but that's probably not something they care about. This Ravenham is probably in the right area to both sell and get their player rating up, and they probably did this when no one was below them, but you see all the undercutting that goes on. So anyway, the point of this is that as you do it, and what I do is when I leave for work in the morning, I buy 200 of something in my list or something. I look through a couple other lists. You might go to, sites and see what the Trijons are going for. Today, and again, Peacekeeper sells them for 281 and everyone's underwater on them. That means they're finding them in raid and then going from there. This person has the right idea, but the problem is you find them so often in raid. Anyway, I might buy something like that, buy 50 of them, and see if they sell. And then I'm going to sell, usually every day, I sell 2 things that I know sells well for a profit. I sell 1 thing that just raises my seller value, and then I find 1 that I'm experimenting with. So I might buy this Trijcon and sell 50 of them, or 20 or 10, and see if they sell and how fast they sell. And then I write that on a piece of paper and I figure out what they're selling for. And what that does is kind of build up a buy it, don't buy it mentality to see what I'm going to do with it in the future. So anyway, there's been a lot of information in this. I hope it helps. And if you have any questions, please not only subscribe to the channel, but also ask the questions below. I try to respond to everything I can. Have a great day. Happy hunting.